Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about design of two-way slab. So we have already discussed what is one-way slab and two-way slab. So if the longer length, that means if suppose we have a slab, suppose this is a slab and this is the longer side which is represented by Ly and the shorter side is represented by Lx, then Ly by Lx, if this ratio turns out to be more than 2, in that case it will be a one-way slab and which will be designed just like a beam. Okay, but if Ly by Lx is found to be less than or equal to 2, then that will be designed as a two-way slab. Okay, so we will be discussing how to design a two-way slab. So for this problem we will be assuming that this is a simply supported rectangular slab. So let's see the question. To design a simply supported slab to cover a room of internal dimension 4 meter by 5 meter. This look at this term internal dimension 4 meter by 5 meter. That means this suppose this is a size, this is a 4 meter and this is 5 meter, and these are clear distances. Okay, clear span you can say. These are clear span because these are internal dimensions, so that is why it is a clear spans. Okay, these are clear span and which are supported on a brick wall of 230 mm thick. The support width is 230 mm. Assume a live load of 3 kN per meter square, finished load of 1 kN per meter square. Okay, so use M20 and Fe415 grade. Now this is important. See here. Assume that the slab corners are free to lift up. What does it mean? That means the slab is simply supported. What do you mean by simply supported? That means a slab which is supported only over the some supports. Okay, at top it is not restrained. So if there is a loading to this, it will what will happen? It will lift up. Corners will lift up like this. Okay, corners will lift up if you give some loading. So if you see the side view of it, if this is a slab, if I'm looking from the side, if I give the loading, if this is the support, then how it will look like? It will look like this. That means the end will lift up. Okay, the end will lift up. When it will happen? If this is simply supported, that is this the end are not restrained, these are not restrained, in that case only the slab corners are free to lift up. So if it is free to lift up, then there will be no additional moment or torsion will develop. Okay, but if the corners are fixed, that means it are not free to lift up. Okay, these are not free to lift up. What will happen? That means you are not it is not freely going upward. That means you have to hold it down. In that case, some torsional moment, some torsion will develop. You have to take care of that torsion. Okay, other than that, you can assure that if the corner, if the segment is like this, that the slab corners are free to lift up, that means it's a simply supported slab. And if it say that the slab corners are fixed to lift up or is not allowed to lift up, in that can you can say these are fixed. And if it is fixed, then you have to take care of torsion that will develop in a slab. Okay. So let's look for the data that is available with us, that is FCK, characteristic strength of concrete, is 20 MPa, and steel Fe415. Here we need the shorter side always. Okay, the shorter side is here is 4 meter. Okay, this is the clear distance, clear span. Now first thing we need to know what is the thickness. Now, how to find out the thickness? So thickness actually looks for the slenderness, right? If the thickness is very less, it will be more slender. If thickness is large, then it will be less slender. So slenderness actually turns to deflection. That means if thickness is less, deflection will be more. If thickness is less, deflection will be. If thickness is more, then deflection will be less. So from this criteria, basically we can find out what is the effective depth we can assume. So for that, you can see a note that you can find it in IS code. The note says that for slabs spanning in two directions, slabs, the shorter of the two spans should be used for calculating span to effective depth ratio. This is same as beam we have done in the beam design. Same thing. Here is span to depth ratio, effective depth ratio. Okay, so for two-way slab of shorter span up to 3.5 meters with mild steel reinforcement, the span to overall depth ratio given below. See here, span to overall depth ratio. Okay, just mind these words. Given below may generally be assumed to satisfy vertical deflection limit for loading class up to 3 kilonewton is simply supported is 35, continuous unit is 40. And if you are using high yield strength deformed bus Fe415, it is zero point 0.8. You have to multiply these terms with 0 0.8. Clear? So let's see how to use it. So here you can see that our overall depth, this 35 is only for up to a depth of distance of 3.5 meter, but here shorter span is here is 4 meter. Why we have taken shorter span? According to this note 1. And the overall depth is 3.5 meter. For 3.5 meter is 35, but our length is 4 meter, so we have to reduce this value. So first, considering 35, let's find out the depth. Okay, the overall depth will be 4 meter divided by 35 into 0.8. Why 0.8? You can see we are using Fe415 grade, so we have to multiply with 0.8. So this 0.8 is this one. Okay, so 35 into 0.8, so you will get a overall depth of 142. But the case is this is up for a load for a span of 3.5 meter as well as a load of 3 kilonewton. Here you can see the load is already live load is 3 kilonewton and finished load is 1 kilonewton. So obviously it is more than 3 kilonewton. It is giving here directly it is giving 4 kilonewton load, and span is also more. So your depth should be increased. So for our considering this case, we can what we can do, we can increase the overall depth by suppose around 20%. Okay, so if I increase 20%, it comes out to be around 171, and so let us provide d is 170. So here just remember that though I am using from here it is 35, but you can also take the d as length by 20. If you look for the book Pilla and Menon, you will see that it is taken as 20. You can take 20 also for simply supported. That is not a big deal, because these are just an assumption that we are making. Because after that we have to again check, re-verify for whether this depth are okay or whether the deflections are okay. Fine. So I think you have understood this part. Now go to the next part. Okay, so remember this figure we will be using a lot while we go for designing of slabs. Okay, so you can see that the shorter side is always denoted by Lx and longer side is always denoted by Ly. Okay, so here some terms that you have to remember: what is edge strip, what is middle strip, and what is edge strip. Here the edge strip is basically Ly by 8 portion here, and this here Ly by 8 portion. This portion is considered as edge strip, and this is considered as middle strip. This will be extensively using where we'll be solving a problem where ends are fixed or these are restrained against free movement towards upward, that is which is not free to move upward. Okay, or you can say when the slab is fixed at its edges. Okay, and if I talk about the edge strip along the x direction, in that case Lx by 8 here, Lx by 8 and 3 by 4 of Lx here. Understood? Now let us assume that for slab we are using 10 mm bar with 20 mm clear cover. Okay, so in slab generally we go for 8 mm bar or 10 mm bar. Most rarely I'm saying you can go for 12 mm bar. Okay, in general practice, if normal residential building, you can go for 10 mm bar or 8 mm bar. Okay, so according to that we are taking 10 mm bar, and clear cover in case of slab is generally 20 mm. Then effective depth considering the shorter edge. Now look at this. We have how basically the reinforcements are provided. Okay, so let's see a cross section of a slab. Okay, so we have some reinforcements like this, as well as some reinforcement along this direction as well. Okay, now this longitudinal reinforcement that we are looking at here, this longitudinal reinforcement are provided along the lower one is provided along the shorter side, and these transfers that you are looking at, these are provided at, that means which are reinforcements which are at the top. Okay, there are two layers of reinforcement, right? The longitudinal, these bars are provided along the shorter side, and the top layer is provided along the longer side. Okay, that means if you see here, the shorter side, that means here you will see these bars like this will be at the bottom layer, then we have a top layer. Blue is the top layer. Okay, that means if I do the cross section, we will see something like this, or say this is the blue layer, sorry, pink layer, and then the blue layer. Understood? That means the pink layer is below and the blue layer is at the top. Okay, so pink layer as it is below, so the whichever reinforcement which is at the lower below at the below level, at the lower level, that will be in the shorter side, and which is the top layer, that will be in the longer side. Clear? That is something you need to remember. Actually, there is a reason behind this. The reason is along the shorter side, the moment is more. To take care of the moment, we need what? To take care of the moment, we need P into eccentricity, or depth, you can say, depth of the nucleus. Effective depth we need, right? The effective we need. What is E is nothing but the D effective. So D effective is more. If moment is more, the effective we need more. In that case, if you provided the reinforcement at a lower level, the effective depth becomes more. I can take more amount of moment. Okay, that is why, as in a shorter shot, we have a larger moment to take care of, like this, a larger moment. So what will happen, that the defective depth we try to take it larger effective depth. So the reinforcement provided at the bottom, and in the longer side the reinforcement provided at the top, means two layers of bars. This reinforcement, the bottom one is for shorter and this one are for longer side. Just think about it. Okay, then you will understand. Now as the effective depth considering the shorter edge, dx, as x is the shorter edge, right? So d is that overall depth minus clear cover, minus, as we are assuming 10 mm bar, so half of 10 mm, that is 5 mm, so it becomes 145 mm. And if I consider effective depth considering the larger edge, then if I consider the larger edge, what will happen? We have already one bar we have considered for the larger edge. Your the effective depth will be calculated from where? From here, dy will be from here, right? Okay, let me show you like this. So if I say dx, so it will be up to here, and if I say dy, it will be up to here. Okay, so dy will be d minus 20 clear cover, then 10 mm bar is there, then minus 5 mm, 5 mm for half of this reinforcement. So it is 135. Okay. Now let's find out what is the effective depth, sorry, effective span. Effective span, actually you can look for the code that you have. I think you remember that effective span is taken as the clear span plus effective depth or center to center distance, whichever is less. So if I take the clear span is 4000 mm, 4 meter plus dx, for Lx it is 4.15 meter, and if I consider the center to center distance, clear distance or clear span plus support width, which is 4.0, whatever, which one is less, it is less. So the effective length is Lx is equal to 4.15. Similarly, Ly, it is 5.135 meter. Okay, so now if you look for the R value, that means the ratio of the longer side to the shorter side, Ly by Lx, which is 1.239. Okay, as this value is less than 2, so it will be a 2 slab. Okay, now let's go for the load calculation. So we have a self weight, which is unit weight into the depth, which is 4.25. Finished load is 1, live load is 3. You add this, all these 3, it will be 8.25. If we do the factor by multiplying 1.5, it becomes 12.375. These are very easy. Now, how to calculate the moment? So design moment, actually here. So why the two-way slabs are not designed as beams? Because you can see that in beams only in the moment is acting only in the one side, right? But in case of slab, it is a combination, both along the x and along the y, both can contribute to the moment. So that is why the slabs are not designed, two-way slabs are not designed like a beam. So as the movement from x direction and movement from y direction both can affect the movement calculation, so we have a special annexure for calculation of moment in case of a two-way slab, which is represented in annex B of IS 456. So the moment along the moment in the x direction, if I say this moment mx is suppose this is x direction, this is y direction. Okay, so mx is alpha x w lx square and my is alpha x w lx square, both were lx, both are lx. So remember this, both are lx, whether it is mx or my, both are are a function of the shorter side. Okay, so this is basically the 2.1, and this you will find an extra d, and here from the table, from the ratio of Ly by Lx, you can find out what are the values of alpha x and alpha y. Okay, now let's do the calculation. For our case, the Ly by Lx value is 1.239. So in the table for Lx, for the table, R1 is 1.2. Yeah, the R is given as 1.239. So it falls between 1.2 and 1.3, which are in the table. See here, we have 1.2 and 1.3, and 1.293 is somewhere in the middle. Okay, so R1 is 1 for 1.2, alpha x1 is 0.081, and R2 1.3, it is 0.093. Okay, and this is after interpolating, we can find out the value of alpha x for r is equal to 1.239, which is 0.087. Similarly, we can find out alpha y after interpolating, which is 0.059. I think there is nothing to explain. It is directly we are taking from the table. Now, if you find out the moment mx is equal to alpha x log by Lx square into 1 meter, this is because the moments are calculated per meter. The moments are calculated per meter, so I have just multiplied 1 meter to make the units consistent. Okay, so mx becomes 18.603 and my becomes 12.214 kilonewton meter. Okay, I think slab design part is the easiest of all that we have discussed so far. Now, design of the reinforcement. So we have to design for both shorter side and the longer side. So here, as we are considering the moment per meter, so here width D we will be taking as 1000 mm. So in the shorter side, if you find the area of the steel, it will come out to be around, here you will be taking mx, okay, and dx. This differences are only differences. You have to take dx and mx here, and the value is 375.547 mm square, and the spacing found comes out to be 209.028, considering 10 mm bar. And for this you have to check for whether the spacing is okay for minimum as well as maximum spacing. So maximum spacing in case of a bar, in case of parallel bar of a slab, is 3 times of D or 300 mm. So as for both the cases, it is minimum is 300 mm, and what we can provide is, where requirement is 209, so we can provide 10 mm bar at a spacing of 200 mm center to center. So if you find out what is the AST provided in the x direction, which is 392.5 mm square. Okay, this is the spacing provided or area of the steel provided. Then reinforcement in the longer or along the y direction. So along the y direction, the same equation, this equation we have used everywhere. Wherever we need to find out steel, this equation we have used. So this is the area of the steel that will be required. So providing 10 mm bar, the spacing comes out to be around 300, right? And what is the spacing, maximum spacing that we can provide? It is 3dy, which is 405 mm and 300 mm. So let us provide 290 mm per center to center 10 mm bar along the longer side. And if I ask for what is the AST provided along the y direction, which is 270.69. AST provided is considering 10 mm bar provided at a spacing of 290 center to center. Now check for deflection. For the deflection check, we will be only taking the reinforcement in the x direction. So PT provided in the x direction is around 0.271%, and Fs we need to find out here, which is comes out to be around 230. And from this we can suppose this is 240 and this is for 190. So 230 will be somewhere here. 230 will be somewhere here. So I found it approximately is equal to 1.6, right? Because the PT value is 0.27, so around 0.3, so it will be somewhere at the middle. Okay, so it will be probably around 1.6. So KT value I have taken 1.6. So L by D, here I have taken 20, considering that all the conditions, that it has a span of 4 meter, load more than 3 kilonewtons. I have considered 20. So it will be better for you if you consider 20 here. So 20, that is this L by D ratio into 1.6. That means this KT value you have to multiply. So it comes out to be 32 for simply supported beam. Or then Ly by Lx by dx, which is actually available, it is 28, and as the required value is 32 and what you have provided is less than that, so it is okay. So there is no issue of deflection. We have deflection will not happen. Now we have to means if as long as the design is concerned, we have found out the depth. Depth is found to be sufficient for deflection, as well as we have found out the reinforcement. We have checked for the maximum reinforcement, and all. So now the last step is to design or to place the reinforcement bar. For this particular clause is important. You can see here that at least 50% of the tension reinforcement provided at the midspan, okay, whatever reinforcement you have provided at the midspan, 50% of that should extend to the support, and remaining 50% should be extended to a width of 0.1 lx or 0.1 ly of the support as appropriate. Okay, so 50% is a similar case that we have done in case of one-way shear, that one-way slab that we have designed earlier. So it is 0.1 lx, and up to a length of 0.1 lx you have to extend your bars, 50% of the bars that you have provided at the midspan in the top portion of the slab. Okay, so let's see how we can have the drawing. So this is suppose the drawing. So in the, this is the 4-meter side, so we'll be having a spacing of 200 mm center to center. Along the longer side we'll be having a spacing of 290 center to center, and it is said that 50% of the bar should be extended to, it should be cranked to the top, and the spacing in the distance should be 0.1 lx. So it will be lx. So lx is 0.4 for our case it is 4.135 probably. So into 0.1, then it comes to 0.413. So it should be 0.413 mm. Okay, so this should be the lx value here, and one bar will be cranked over here, and other bar will be cranked on the other side, and the next bar will be cranked on this side like this, so that 50% gets cranked to the top. Similarly, along this in the y direction or in the longer direction also, whatever effective depth you have, that is ly, you multiply with 0.1, and for that particular distance you provide the cranked at the top. Okay, this distance is from here to here. This distance, you minded, this distance is 0.1 ly. Probably these values will be different here. You just ignore these values, you make your, you just do the calculation, you find out what is 0.1 ly, and here this will be 0.1 lx. Okay, other than that this is fine. So if you see the cross section, how it will look like, these are the bars, okay, which are the 200 mm center to center, and 51 bar will continue, the next bar will crank up, which is a distance of, this is 0.1 ly, and the next bar will go, it will not be cranked, and next to the next bar will be again cranked. That means 50% of the bar, alternate bars will be cranked up. Okay, and 8 mm bars that we have provided, these are some distribution bars, that is the nominal, and other than that these are the bar arrangement that you can see. So this is how we have to do the detailing, and with this we can basically conclude the particular design of a one-way slab, which is simply supported or the ends are free to lift up. So if you have any doubt, please let me know, and with this I would like to conclude today's class.